game-changing calls. There's no public accountability.
I don't want to hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great Thursday. Hope all of you having a great week. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And man, oh man. Shaking my head. I wish y'all could see me. Dabo the dinosaur. This is a serious question I have for you, my brother. What are you doing? If I was talking to you face to face right now, if I saw you, this is exactly what I would ask you. What are you doing? You're making a fool out of yourself. I'm not going to sit up here and say he is striking me as a sore loser. It's more so of he just can't stop crying and he can't take accountability. It's never his fault. Word of advice, word of wisdom with your boy Matt for a split second. This applies for every single one of you watching this video and every single thing you do. If you're losing or whatever, you're just not exceeding your expectations or living up to them and whatnot, just take accountability. Don't keep telling someone why you didn't win the ball game, you didn't win the golf match, the tennis match, whatever it is. Just say, you know what? My opponent, they got the best of me. I got to be better. And keep it pushing. The problem with Dabo Swinney is he can't do that. And I know exactly what you're sitting here saying. Whoa, Matty boy, didn't we already talk about this Dabo situation? Yeah, we did a couple days ago. But he is still talking. Not only is he talking, but he is crying and complaining about the refs. I'm going to show you exactly what he had to say. And here's the thing. Let me address the elephant in the room. Have the refs been awful this year? Yes. But when you are 3-5 like Clemson Dabo is, why are you even bringing that up? It'd be different if they've screwed you over in a couple games. And that's the reason you got 2 or 3 losses and you might not make the playoffs. But buddy, you got 3-5. Do I need to say anything more? Golly, man. And it's not even like I'm going to get too rallied up about this situation. It's more so of I'm just appalled at the lack of accountability. I'll show you this quote tweet before I show you the original tweet. Quite the temper tantrum this week from Dabo after checks notes. An official made a correct call that went against his team. Pardon me if I'm unmoved by his, what is it? I've never seen that word in my life. Histrionics? Yeah, that's not even a real word. Anyways, going back to what this guy said, I'm the same way. I'm just not moved by it. Not even to the slightest. For those of you that have no idea what I'm referencing or what I'm talking about, I'll show you what Dabo had to say word for word, and I quote. In the meantime, we got gambling issues going on, and people are being suspended. Refs are people too. If they are a part of the game, they ought to be a part of the accountability and consequences. Before I rip Dabo a new one, let me address the whole refs, accountability, and the consequences, because he's right there. I do agree with that. For the longest, I have never understood why refs can make horrendous calls. And hey, they're human. They're going to make mistakes. But you should be penalized for it. Everybody else gets penalized. Coaches get fired. Players get suspended, whatnot. Why do we not punish the refs? There should be a strike system there. I'm not saying if it's one bad call, you got to fire the guy or put him on like a 3 or 4 game timeout, suspension, whatever you want to call it. But after about 3 to 4, what we can agree on after they review them on Sundays or Mondays, bad calls, yeah, there's got to be like a 1-game suspension. Dabo knows it, you know it, I know it, every single one of you watching this video, you know it, and we can agree on it. The refs, they have been horrendous in college football, not just this year, but the past couple of years. Here's the dilemma we face. I don't know how many bad calls a ref should have to make or would make for us to say, okay, we got to suspend him for 1 game, and then after that, what's the next level? What's the next tier? If he makes 5 to 7 bad calls in 1 year, is it a 2, 3 game suspension? And eventually, when you start talking about, all right, this guy's just not a good ref, then we got to suspend him permanently. I don't know. It's such a gray area because some games, they have a bunch of judgment calls, and that's what they are. They're judgment calls, controversial calls. And there could be about, in 1 game alone, we'll say 9 to 10 controversial plays. On the flip side of it, you could have a ref who's not in a controversial game. He's in nothing but blowouts, and for 5 to 6 games a year, he doesn't even face 10 controversial calls in total, if that makes sense. In other terms, let me dumb this down. 1 game alone could have 10 controversial or judgment calls, compared to 6 games combined may not even have 1 of those. I don't know, but here's what I do know. Dabo Swinney, he's off his rocker, and I already know what these Dabo fanboys and Clemson fans are going to say. Well, Matt, he has taken accountability. He stated the season's a failure. I've seen all that, but it's the fact he is still crying and complaining about this. Do you see Kalen DeBoer crying about the refs? No. And I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just asking you a question. Do you see Ryan Day complain about the refs? No. Do you see Kurt Sinetti crying and complaining about the refs. No. Do you see Kirby Smart crying and complaining about the refs? No. And I can name off the entire top 10, top 15. You get the point. All the teams that are successful, they're not crying about the refs. It's like, all right, I get it, Dabo Swinney. You're right. You're 110% right. Refs, they need to be punished. But what's the point of bringing all this up? If you got to ask me, it goes back to Dabo being Dabo. This is who he is. I know he's got a couple national championships, but he's an interesting cat, I'll tell you that much. He seems so bitter, whether he's talking to the media, heck, his own fans, whoever. It doesn't seem like he's having a good time out there, like he's happy anymore. And maybe it's because he's losing and whatnot. He's not living up to the expectations he set there at Clemson. I've always believed in this. Winning's fun, and if you're not winning, ain't nothing funny. I feel like if he would lighten up just a little bit, try to win over the fan base, maybe, and this is just a maybe, he could turn things around at Clemson. But from what I've seen so far, that's not going to happen, and he's on his way out. This is the end of Dabo Swinney, like we talked about a couple days ago. I think that was the title of the video.
We're allowed to turn in 10 calls. All right, and so we had a game earlier this year that we lost. I had 14 I wanted to turn in, but I only turned in 10. All right? I thought 8 were wrong, but got back. Yep, missed it. 5 of the 10 were wrong. And I mean, these are game-changing calls. Obvious pass interference not called. That takes you off the field. But yeah, we just get this will be addressed with the crew and yada, yada, yada. Okay? Yeah, but you ain't there's no public accountability.
Look, I'm going to divert back to this. You're probably sick and tired of me saying at this point. I agree with them, but this is the honest truth. This is how I feel about it. To make a long story short, I don't want to hear it, and that's just how I am. Maybe you do want to hear it, but in my life, I can only speak for MBG. I am not a complainer. I'm a problem solver. I'd say 90% of people out there, they're complainers. I've lived on this earth. I've experienced it, first-hand experience. Not me. I don't like hearing people complain about anything in life, so I'm especially not going to want to hear this. And it's like I talked about earlier. I try to think of ways of how we can fix this. What's the solution? Do we suspend the refs? Stuff like that. That's how my brain operates. Just don't want to hear it, and I don't care to hear it. And here's another element about all this I haven't even brought up yet. Clemson's not the only team that's facing and going up against bad calls. It happens to everyone. I know that's a cliche thing to say, oh, well, everybody has bad calls against them, but it's the truth. Some teams overcome it, others don't. I remember one of my high school coaches told me this. Don't put it in the refs' hands. Don't let them decide the game. What did he mean? What was he talking about? Don't even keep the game close enough where a bad call is going to change the outcome. You got to control the controllables. Clemson has done a terrible job of doing that this year. Many more things I could say. We'll end it off here. I'm curious. We'll know your thoughts down below. But